Welcome to Spiritual Calisthenics.
Christ is in our midst. Today, on Saturday, October 21st, we commemorate St. Hilarion the Great, our righteous father Christodoulus, the Wonderworker of Patmos, the holy martyrs Theodote and Socrates, St. John the new martyr of the Peleponnesos, and the righteous Philotheos. Regarding St. Hilarion the Great, this saint was born at Tabbatha, near Gaza in Palestine, of pagan parents. Sent as a young man to Alexandria to be educated, he learned the Christian faith and was baptized. While in Egypt, he heard the fame of St. Anthony the Great, and upon meeting that truly great man, the father of monks, St. Hilarion determined to devote himself also to the ascetical life. He returned to Gaza, when he gave himself over to extreme fasting and unceasing prayer. Because of the miracles which he soon began to work, he found himself compelled by his growing renown to leave Gaza to escape from the throngs of people coming to ask for his prayers. In his journeys, he visited Egypt, came again with longing to the place where St. Anthony had lived, but he was not able to remain in any one place for long, since despite all his attempts to conceal himself, the light of the grace that was in him could not be hid. After passing through Egypt and Libya, and sailing to Sicily, he came at last to Cyprus, where he ended the course of his life at the age of 80 in the year 372. With the rivers of your tears you have made the barren desert fertile. Through the sighs and sorrows from deep within you, your labors have borne fruit 100-fold. By your miracles you have become a light shining upon the world. O Hilarion, our Holy Father, pray to Christ our God to save our souls. As we gather on this day, we sing with your praise and acclaim you as a never-setting light of the bright spiritual day star. Those whom ignorance benighted, you do illumine with your beams, and you do rise up unto divine heights, O Hilarion, our Father. All them that cry out, height of ascetics, rejoice. Regarding St. Christodoulus of Patmos, our venerable father Christodoulus was born near Nicomedia in Bithynia around the year 1020. His parents' names were Theodore and Anna. Their son received the name of John in holy baptism. He was renowned as an ascetic and a physician throughout the Byzantine Empire. In 1043 he was tonsured on Mount Olympus, where under the guidance of the elders he received a broad education. After the death of his spiritual father, he made a pilgrimage to the holy places in 1045. He visited Rome in Palestine, and he lived in Asia Minor, and on some Greek islands where he founded several monasteries. After the Saracen invasions of Palestine, Father Christodoulus left the Holy Lands, and in 1070 settled on Mount Patmos, in the Stavropegial monastery of the Theotokos in northwestern Caria. Soon he was chosen as the superior of that monastery. In 1076, Patriarch Cosmas I of Constantinople installed Father Christodoulus as archimandrite over all the Latmian monasteries. From 1076 to 1079 he labored to build and fortify monasteries. In 1079 the Latmian monasteries were destroyed by the Seljuk Turks. The saint took refuge with his small community in the city of Sorvilos on the Aegean coast, where the hermit Arsenius placed him in charge of his monastery. Father Christodoulus soon moved to the nearby island of Kos, the least affected by the Muslim incursions. There Arsenius had several estates, and on Mount Pelion, in the latter's suggestion, Christodoulus founded the Castrian monastery of the Most Holy Theotokos in 1080. In 1087 he founded a monastery on the neighboring island of Leros. In addition, during his stay on the island of Kos, St. Christodoulus organized an expedition to Mount Patmos in order to rescue the books from the monastic community which had been abandoned. These books were sent to the library of the Hagia Sophia in Constantinople for safekeeping. Seeking greater solitude and austerity, St. Christodoulus turned his attention to the island of Patmos. He was so struck by the ascetic spirit of these places that he decided to establish a monastery on that island. In 1089, he submitted his first application to Emperor Alexios I Komnenos for a new monastic community on the island of Patmos, in place of the land on the island of Kos and on the shores of Caria. According to a crucible issued in 1088, the emperor gave the island of Patmos to Father Christodoulus as an eternal, inalienable property, exempting it from all taxes. It forbade government officials to act on the island. In fact, the island was withdrawn from the jurisdiction of the state's administration, and all judicial and administrative power of this island were consecrated in the hands of the igumenon of the monastery. The Venerable One established a monastery on a mountain near the cave, where, according to tradition, the holy apostle John the Theologian received a divine revelation and wrote his prophetic book in the years 68 to 69. The monastery was built on a rocky ledge, almost in the center of the island, and during the first 3 years it had acquired the appearances of a fortress. However, in the last years of his life, because of the raids of pirates, the saint was forced to flee Patmos. He and his disciples went to the island of Evia, where he reposed on March 16, 1093. Shortly before his death, he gave his disciples instructions to bury him on the island of Patmos in the monastery he had founded. His disciples took his holy and incorrupt relics and transferred them to his own monastery, where they remain for the sanctification of those who venerate them with faith. So therefore, Saint Christodoulus is commemorated both on March 16th, which is the day that he passed, and on October 21st, the transfer of his holy relics. O brethren, let us honor the godly-minded Christodoulus with hymns, the offspring of Nicaea, the boast of Patmos, and the glory of monks. Let us venerate his relics, and so receive healing of soul and body, crying out, Glory to him who strengthened you, glory to him who crowned you, glory to him who through you works healings for all. Since we possess your relics as a holy place of healing for all our diseases and afflictions, we are delivered from them. We cry aloud to you, rejoice, O renowned Christodoulus. I consider myself truly blessed because in the year 2005, I was able to be, not 2005, in the year 2004, I was honored to be a tour guide on the island of Patmos in the monastery of St. John the Theologian, which is the monastery founded by St. Christodoulus. So every single day I was particularly honored to venerate the relics of the great St. Christodoulus. We also wish Father Christodoulus Margellos, a close and dear friend, Kroniopola, on this his feast. From the Gospel according to St. Luke. At that time Jesus entered Capernaum. Now a centurion had a slave who was dear to him, who was sick and at the point of death. When he heard of Jesus, he sent to him elders of the Jews, asking him to come and heal his slave. When they came to Jesus, they besought him earnestly, saying, He is worthy for you to do this for he loves our nation, and he has built us our synagogue. And Jesus went with them. So in other words, this centurion meaning a man that is over 100 troops, he is a good man. He is good to the Jews. He built them their synagogue so that they could have a place to worship. And this slave, it doesn't necessarily mean the same way that we connotate slave as like sklavos, where we think of roots with beatings and what have you. This is a servant that is very, very dear to him. And when Jesus went with them, and when he was not far from the house, the centurion sent friends to him, saying to him, Lord, do not trouble yourself, for I am not worthy to have you come under my roof. Therefore I did not presume to come to you. But say the word, and let my servant be healed. For I am a man set under authority, with soldiers under me. I say to one, Go, and he goes. To another, Come, and he comes. And to my slave, Do this, and he does it. In other words, the centurion is aware that Jesus Christ cannot enter into the house of a non-Jew. It's defiling. And so he is honoring Jesus Christ, but he's also showing his extreme faith, saying, I don't need you to come all the way here. You don't need to do anything other than say it, and it will be done. Meaning that this centurion has incredible faith. When Jesus heard this, he marveled at him, and turned and said to the multitude that followed him, I tell you, not even in Israel have I found such faith. And when those who had been sent returned to the house, they found the slave well. Now Jesus Christ saying this of a Gentile, not even in Israel. Jesus Christ only names a couple of people as having great faith. And in these instances within the Gospels, they're not Jews. They're not his people. They're Gentiles. He says it of the woman whose daughter was demon-possessed, the Canaanite woman, and he says it here about the centurion. So these are models for us to follow in faith.
I hope that you've enjoyed today's Spiritual Calisthenics. Have a blessed and wonderful day.